Welcome in, West Tigers fans, to another episode of the West Tigers Live podcast. I'm your host, Josh Barnett, coming in from the iChoice studios and brought to you by the Summerhill Hotel. Be sure to join us at Summerhill Hotel. When are we in camp? When's the Canberra game off? 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Away. We'll be at the Summerhill Hotel.
Saturday, July 25, 3 p.m.
Straight off the top of the noggin. Nice work. Also, give us a follow on the socials. So West Tigers TV on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. West Tigers Life on X. And shouts to see there's heaps of people already coming in to the YouTube stream. A couple of people will sign up as members. Thank you to Michelle and who was the other one before? Simon. Michelle and Simon signed up to the YouTube membership. So thank you. Help support the show as well. Shouts to all of our patreon.com/Westlife members as well. Big show tonight, obviously. So much so that Gaz has travelled halfway across Sydney last minute to join us. We have a few callers coming on later in the show. Obviously, it was going to be a call-in show. Obviously, big news this afternoon. Jarome, Luai announcing, the mic's a little bit down. Should have checked the levels. Is that better? Better sound, I think. Just noticed the levels were down. My bad. Gaz, how are you this evening?
I was a lot better about 6 hours ago before the announcement was made this afternoon.
And on my right, I think, Hoff, you're feeling a little bit different since the news dropped this afternoon?
I'm not happy about it, but now I've come to terms with it. I think it was a ballsy move. Is it going to be the right one? Time will tell. But for the moment, I support the club and what they're going to do, and hopefully it starts with a win tomorrow night.
And we've got a West Tigers orgy of hosts tonight. So coming in from the Red Room, nice and clear tonight, looking very suave in his training jacket. Someone actually mentioned, I don't know if you saw it in the Claws Out feed the other night, Rob. Someone thought you were tucked in like a suit with your jacket on.
Yeah, I don't know how this looks like a suit, but I guess it was a compliment. So any compliment I will take, especially at my age, mate.
And for the first time on West Tigers Life in quite a while, Coach Adel coming in from Queensland. How are you, Adel?
I'm good, Josh. Feels very nostalgic tonight. It's brings a bit of a tear to my eye tonight having you as our host. I'm enjoying being back.
And I'm host and pushing the buttons. So producer Jay's having a rest this week. So if any technical speaking difficulties as well, you'll know why. All right, let's get straight into it. The Jarome Luai, obviously this afternoon, it was broken, not really announced. It was broken by, I think, Carianis, broke it today, this afternoon, that Jarome Luai has been given permission to leave the club. Gary, I'll throw to you just to because you've deep dived a little bit more into it this afternoon, I believe. What's the latest you've heard on this? Where he said he's going?
The reporting this afternoon has been Parramatta is probably the Brent Reid, I think, was reporting that's where he's likely to end up. I was actually surprised that he's reporting that it's only around 300,000 that the Tigers will be pitching in next year, but everything I'd heard before that was up around that $600,000 mark.
600, so half,
yeah.
50-50.
That was expected, though.
That's a lot of money.
I knew we'd be paying a huge amount of
money. Yeah, I expected it to be half as well, but man, it's a big whack to our cap for next year. Rob, I'll let you go first. What's your opinion on this whole situation?
Yeah, I'm still trying to come to terms with it 100%. I've calmed down in the last few hours. It's a bit of a weird one, guys. It's one of these situations where with the club and Jarome Luai, if this makes sense, I kind of think no one's in the wrong here. I think everyone's blaming everyone, but I can see both sides of it. I can see why Jerome's upset. I can see why the club's doing it. It's something that I didn't want to see, but if it is saving, getting someone like Samuela long term or whatever, I guess we have to stick by it. It's one of these ones where Jarome decided to leave to Papua New Guinea, and we understood it was business. Yet Jerome's upset now because we want him to leave early over business. So I don't know if you can have it both ways. I take his slight resentment or maybe deep resentment that he actually loves the place and he wanted to be here for another year, and he can see what we're capable of doing and being a part of next year. So it's just a hard one, guys. I just want to see how the wash-up is. I want to see how we play tomorrow night, more importantly. I don't think his form has been poor at all in the last few weeks. I thought we saw a vintage display against the Titans. I thought he played a very good game against the Dolphins, even though we lost. Probably the Knights game, he didn't really get involved much. That would have been the one disappointing game. And obviously he didn't play against the Dragons. So I don't think you can say he's switched off or not having a go. I mean, he's vital to our team. I'm a little bit disappointed for 2027. That's what bothers me, because I think Luai and Dewey is more of a chance of winning a premiership, especially with someone who has won 4 premierships, than, with all due respect, Latu Fainu and Adam Dewey, as much as I love Latu and think he's got all the potential in the world.
Adel, what are your thoughts? Well, what went through your mind when you saw the news? Because obviously you've been a big Luai, probably across our whole channel, the biggest Luai defender and supporter this year. What were your thoughts when this news dropped?
Well, look, I mean, I'm happy to say it now openly. I actually told the boys on Monday that I'd heard about this. The information I actually got at the time was he's basically going to Penrith, which, I mean, I seen the Brent Reid thing tonight. I reckon that's just a guess, because I think they're just trying to figure out what it actually looks like. But and I'd heard exactly what we learned today, that the club was the one making the decision. Look, if you put yourself into the club's, like, I came on to actually argue with Rob tonight, and I can't argue with him. I mean, I can argue a little bit, but not that much.
Sucked in.
To what he just said, but I know he got me a beauty. We gave him too much time to calm down. But no, I actually believe Jarome. It's a tough one because we don't know what the truth actually is. I just think Benji's shown that he's someone that can make the tough decisions, which is probably what today's proven, because what we do know at the moment, and this is all due respect to our CEO and our football manager and Pat Richards and Sean Millicamp, Benji's in charge of our football department. So every decision that's being made is Benji's decision at the moment. So this is Benji making a big, tough decision. But the way to flip it from my perspective is, well, there's 2 blokes at the moment who have probably grown a foot today. That's Javon Andrews and Latu Fainu, because their passage has been open for the next 12 to 24 months. So it's really important to understand that. I know why people would be looking at it from a perspective of, it's almost failing on next year. But, I mean, to give you a bit of perspective, the Warriors probably thought, losing Luke Metcalf this year was going to be the downfall to them, and then Tanner Boyd came along. And, this is just the nature of rugby league at the moment. Do I think we're a better football side if Jerome's not with us next year? I don't, but that doesn't mean that's going to be the case, because someone's going to get an opportunity out of those 2. I don't think it's going to be Jock. I think one of those 2 will get the opportunity next year, and our presumption is going to be it's going to be Latu, because he has bided his time for a long time. Look, regarding all the other garbage, and I call it that because it doesn't really matter to me, who's right, who's wrong, Jarome this, Jarome that, should he go on social media? It doesn't really matter to me, honestly. It doesn't affect me at all. I don't take offense to anything. I just think now it's shown that the club can actually make a tough decision, and more in particular, Benji can make a tough decision that's going to work for our cap and work for our future. I said this the other day. If Benji wanted to be selfish and worry about his short term and worry about what's going to happen, this year and next year, and not think about the future of the club, well, he'd make that selfish decision and keep Jarome and block those other guys and potentially lose one of the Fainu brothers. But he's decided to look long term, and that's still going to mean that obviously they're going to focus on the short term. But yeah, I mean, I just think it's a show of strength from Benji's perspective.
The issue I kind of have with it is, once again, it comes across, we've got a history of being a club that can't follow a plan through, and I know the plan has changed, but we're at a point where we're now banking on 2 guys who haven't played first grade as halfbacks to any real extent next season. If we thought Latu was 100% that guy moving forward, then why haven't we been playing him this season? That's the issue I kind of have with it. I think it just shows us again that we're so reactionary to what's going on around us, what's going on in our club, instead of being a little bit more proactive And it just like time and time again as a club, we get to this point in the year and we're writing off the year. I don't think there's any doubt that this issue had an effect on the game against St. George last weekend. A game that if we won, we're still well and truly in the chase for finals. And we're making decisions during that season that makes that job harder and probably wipes out our chance of making the finals this year.
And doing it last week too, like apparently, why not wait till after? Like I mean, do we blame this loss to the Dragons
I do.
on this? I mean, it's pretty. I think in
Yeah,
hindsight,
I would, but
it's our season. Could they not have waited a week to just?
But if it is
knock
about
over the
shoring up
Dragons?
other players and maybe going to the market and buying a Leota or someone that's available, we have to start shopping them around now. And word's going to get out.
Yeah, but
We can't leave it
I'm
to
with
the end of
Gaz.
the
You can't
year.
just write off a season when we're in
Who
finals.
says
next
we're
year.
writing off a season?
Well, they've told Luai to leave. Obviously, the concussion thing was BS. Like, is there any? Rob, I believe you said you were told it was possibly he had a fever. He was actually crook, but do you think that's BS now? Did he not play last week because of this saga?
I was told by a very prominent journalist today who you all see on NRL 360 that he had a high fever. It wasn't concussion. Now, if you get told concussion and then you get told high fever, you start wondering if he just had the shits and didn't want to play last week. But if Jarome Luai plays last week, I think we win. I think we're a totally different team with him in it, especially defensively, given the way they carved us up from the get-go on our left edge. He was a massive out. And I just want to see how we go tomorrow night. I think the proof will be in Jarome's performance tomorrow night, should he play. And I think the other thing too, if we've not so much lost faith, but if we've basically said we don't want you anymore, like we think we'll be okay without you next year, then why has he got the captaincy tomorrow night? You know, why is he even playing? Like,
Because I don't think
Gary makes
sorry,
a valid.
Rob. Sorry, Rob. I'm not interrupting, so keep going.
You are.
You are,
You
but
are.
that's all right.
No, I thought you'd finished. Keep going. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, Gary, if our future is Latu at halfback, why aren't we starting him? Why do we keep persisting with Jock? I will say one thing, Adel, that you said it's a choice between Jock and Latu next season. No chance. It's 100% Latu. If they're both fit, the job's been promised to Latu. I know that for a fact.
I said Javon or Latu, but not.
Oh, sorry, we'll even Javon. It's not going to be Javon's, mate. Latu will be the starting halfback next year.
I agree with you. And look, I'll make a few points on this. One is the difference why you do it straight away, because there's obviously negotiations going on with the finals at the moment. So every week you leave that's another week of those boys still being in limbo. That's one. Two, the fact that what you're saying, Rob, is not necessarily how the conversation happened. I mean, I don't believe this whole. I mean, we watched the garbage on 360 tonight. This doesn't mean Benji and Jarome's relationship is strained. It could be as simple as, and this is the way I perceive it would have been taken from Benji's perspective. We would grab Jarome and say, listen, we need to sign these boys. The way to do it is basically say to you next year, you're going to have to find another club. We're going to give you all the time to do it. Because again, we could have done this at the end of the year and given him no time. So it's almost like we're sort of being proactive, making sure everybody's being looked after at the same time, and say to him, you know, I need you to do this. I mean, I understand you're going to PNG. We gave you the permission to go, have the negotiations, do everything. But now this is what we need from you to manage our cap, to keep our boys. I'd like to think Jarome would respect the fact that Benji would do that with him. So from all reports, there's no reports at the moment talking about any strained relationships. All we're hearing is what's happened. We don't know that there's a strained relationship. That's just speculation that's going to go through the media, and we shouldn't believe that bullshit until we actually hear it or see it. And to be fair, Jarome and Benji are not two people that are going to bullshit us publicly as well. They're both people that will come out and speak their minds and tell us exactly how it is. So if there was a problem, I don't think those two guys are going to be two people that are going to shy away from it. So I don't think it's one of those things where we've gone, season's over, we don't want you, Jarome, piss off. I think it's, hey, you've decided to make a decision. We supported you. Now we need you to support our decision, because we've got to move forward next year. So I don't necessarily believe all the garbage that's being put out there at the moment. It's very quickly being put out there that there's going to be a strain in the relationship because we don't know that yet. So let's just wait and see and figure out what the go is, and then we'll sort of judge it from there.
Yeah, Adel, I just want to say that I agree with you in terms of Benji and Romy not having their relationship strained. But I can tell you that same person that told me all this today said the club is absolutely filthy about the Instagram post from Saturday, and they've expressed that. Now, if they're filthy about that Instagram post, and then Jarome Luai puts out another post today saying it's God's plan, not my plan, I mean, that just shows that there's definitely some resentment.
He's allowed to be on social media.
It might not be with Benji. I'm just telling you the club's upset.
Yeah, but that same person that told you there was a fever, as we spoke about today, I got told from somebody inside the club that Jarome was under the HIA protocols all week last week. So, again, I'm going to believe someone from inside the club than a journo that we know has had a vendetta against the club.
He hasn't had a vendetta against the club, mate. He told me Jared Hage was going to be named this week, on Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock. He messaged me. I didn't even message him. He said Jared Hage was going to play. Anyway, won't go there. Won't, because everyone's going to get the shits. Why don't you name him? Why don't you name him? But anyway, it'll be obvious in coming days.
Yeah.
Adel, you said the Fainu negotiations are part of it. Aren't the Fainus, they're signed up next year, aren't they? Their negotiations are for beyond next year. So don't we have till November 1 for them? So we don't really have to rush with those. Yeah,
but obviously, so the big thing about if you can free up 600,000, let's say that's the number, or 800,000 in your cap next year, you got to remember these guys go to market on November the 1st. So that's why you got to lock them up early. How you negotiate a deal with what 28, 29, 30 looks like, what happens in your cap for 27 can have an impact. Because obviously we know we've signed a whole heap of boys for 28, 29, 30. If you know you've got 800,000 in your cap free next year, well, and let's just use, you can manage those numbers. You Avarillos and these sort of guys into 27, add a bit of money, which frees up space at 28, 29, 30, so that you can make sure that Samuel and Latu's deals fit in. Management of the salary cap is the most important thing in football clubs these days. And the fact that we've actually got a little bit of proactivity about what we're doing, to me, is a positive. Now, again, we don't know the full facts of it, but I'd rather be doing this now than doing this in November, because when November comes around, it may be too late. So I love the fact that the club's getting on the front foot with this.
Yeah, could they not have done it instead of July 2, done it July 10? Is it really going to make that much difference? Could we not have waited? I agree with Gaz. I like that game against the Dragons on the weekend. We won't know really ever, but in hindsight, that our season could have been saved with a win over the Dragons. We'd be going into this Warriors game tomorrow, 50% win rate, thinking we can make the finals.
We can still win tomorrow night.
We can, but we're 4 points in four.
I think the sooner the better. We need to shore up our outsides for 2027, and the longer we leave it, the harder it'll be.
But one more week, just not even a week. Do it Monday. Do it Monday morning this week. Do it Sunday.
Josh, you know what?
We could have done it Sunday.
Josh, you know what? And this is Jerome's point, right? And I know we're all different and we see things a lot differently. Jerome's point, and that's why his post was done on the weekend, and we debated it. I didn't have a problem with it, because what you're saying is correct, and I agree with you. I mean, and most of us agree that if Jarome plays, it makes us a better football side. But what's the garbage that Jarome copped at the start of the year when he came back after his injury, when Jock and Adam were winning? What was the garbage he was copping then? That we're
From
better
who,
off
though?
with those two.
Fans.
Fans.
A lot of our fans. A lot of our fans, mate, were giving it to him. And again, from my perspective, if you're Jerome's mate, you're like, don't worry about it, as if you worry about that small minority. But we talked about it personally. I mean, I get the shits when people carry on our chat sometimes, because
I love it, Adel. I love it.
Yeah, but everybody's different, Gaz. And you know what? Jarome has always been that person that just brings out the best in him in most cases. I think in this case it hasn't with us. But that's sort of probably why on the weekend he's turned around and gone, well, a good chunk of our fan base think you don't need me anyway. So But I do agree with you. I mean, if he played on the weekend, it probably would have been different. But like I said, I mean, from my understanding, he was definitely under HIA protocols. I don't think that was a smokescreen.
Adel, do you think there's a part of Jarome that didn't feel fully welcomed at our club due to those sort of things from fans?
Not at the start, no. But we've also come to learn that a lot of our fans have never liked him from day dot, and that was always going to be a thing. I mean, all these sort of players, you know, your Jarome Luais, your Reed Marnies, these sort of guys, when they go from club to club because they antagonise fans when they're at other clubs and they're not popular figures in the game. When they go to your club, you sort of almost want to say, "Yep, they're with us." But then every opportunity you can, you sort of chew them up and spit them out as quick as you can. So
Josh
they're the
Reynolds
sort of
was one
guys
of them.
and they're the sort of guys that you love them when they're with your club. But the moment there's an opportunity to go back at them, you do that. Now, but I don't think I don't know. What do you guys think? At the start, I think at the start we were all really welcoming, weren't we?
100%.
Yeah,
he was the king. He was.
It sucks because it's probably only our fan base is probably a couple 100,000 people, and it was probably like 20 or 30 dickheads online being trolls. Like literally every single one of us across our 10 to 12 hosts that we have on our channel, we all love Jarome, and like across the other podcasts as well. Like I've never heard a single like Tigers what do you call it, content creator or anything. I think
there's been a couple asking for him to leave over the last couple of months.
Who?
A few other podcasts that it's been discussed on. Maybe one I used to be on's discussed it a number of times.
It's the one I don't listen to, right? Well, that's surely Jarome.
Do you guys think? Here's a question. You know, I'll go to Rob first. Actually, no, Rob, you'll be the one. You'll be on my side with this. Do you think that he will tank for the rest of the year, or do you think he'll play it out? Like
it's not in his.
I don't think there's a chance.
It's not in his character to tank. And that's what I mean. Like I said to you, I mentioned the game against the Dolphins. We saw a vintage performance. I think the problem with Jarome Luai coming to our club on the figure that he came on is you expect that performance against the Titans every single week. Because let's face it, who is worth $1.2 or $1.4 million a year unless you're being basically man of the match every week? So he came to us with some unfair expectations. What's sort of bothering me about this, and again, I'm not blaming Jarome, I'm not blaming the club, it's just how it's going to pan out. You've got a guy that idolised Benji Marshall, that loved the Tigers as a kid. His dad loved the Tigers as a kid, and this potentially might end up sour. And I just don't want it to end up sour because, again, this is another poor look of someone coming to our club and then leaving in a poor way, like we've had other players in the past. So I just think I love him. I'm going to love him no matter what, even if he goes to another club. Until he's playing against us, I'll always be a supporter of his. But I just don't understand. My one criticism with the club is if you have asked him to leave, he shouldn't have the captaincy tomorrow night. If you can have him as a player, and to what Gary said, why isn't Latu Fainu starting at halfback instead of Jock Madden from now? Because that is the plan for next year. And if we're looking to the future, we've got to get into it now because, like I said, I think we're a better chance of winning the premiership in 2027 with Jarome Luai there, and he's not going to be there. So I'm not sitting on the fence. I genuinely see both sides of this. Adel, you made a lot of good points on our group chat about, saving cap space and what have you. My only negative with all that, we're saving cap space, but look at who we're re-signing. As much as I love our players, we're re-signing a bunch of guys that have had no success. We're putting all our eggs in a group of players that don't know how to play finals. Some of them we've signed up until 2030. It's not like we're signing guys that have done it. So we're basically securing what we've had the last couple of years. So they've got to improve. They've all got to improve at the rate of Alex Twoll improving and Adam Dewey improving. Otherwise, we've basically signed up to what we've already been getting.
They're at the age where they haven't hit their peak yet. They should be ascending still in their careers. But you're right.
Thank you.
Like it's not like a James Tarmel situation where they're on the back end of their career. These are guys that are. I mean, Samuel Afenu, we all said at the start of the year was going to be state of origin contention. Like they haven't played finals, but some of these kids that we have, Dream Buller, as much as some of the idiotic fan base don't realise what he does for this club. Dream Buller's a superstar in the making already. We can see that.
You need
as
leadership
well.
around those guys.
Yeah, you're right. We need some veterans to come in. We do need someone to replace that. We've got Appy. We've got Appy for 2 more years. We've got Dewey. Like Adam played finals, played a grand final for South, didn't he?
What I think Appy's time at the club has shown is it's too hard for him to do it by himself. I think he needs help in that leadership role. I think that's one of the big things Jarome brought to our club. That's one of the big things we're losing as he leaves our club. And I don't know how we replace that moving forward over the next 12 months at least.
I feel like Adam should be our captain.
Adam
should be our captain.
I don't agree with that. I think we've got senior players, and I think these senior players are going to become more senior. I mean, Samuel Afenu is in the junior reps was a captain. He will be our captain when Uppy retires. That's my opinion. I actually think the key to this is not about who we replace. Rob, the guys that we've re-signed, they're the guys that have done the job for us. To me, they're the guys that have actually been able to do the job. I think now what this becomes is what we do with this money. Obviously, it's going to make sure that that little bit extra we need for Samuela and Latu is there. I don't think Latu we're going to have to pay much. We will probably get Latu at the same money he's on at the moment, which, again, is a benefit of him not playing the last couple of years. But Samuel is the one we're going to have to upgrade. If we're getting an extra 800 in our cap next year, for example, what that can do is players 20 to 30, that's what we need. We need Tristan Hope upgraded by 20%. We need Charlie Murray, Tony Suka, all these guys upgraded by 20% better players. That's what we need to improve in our roster. It's not players 1 to 17. You're not going to get a superstar 1 to 17 when you're the West Tigers. What you're going to get is what we've got at the moment. Our best 1 to 17, whether it's Jarome or Latu, and again, let's not throw away the fact that Latu, of all these guys that are playing at the moment in the NRL, Latu was better than all of them. And he was the prodigy ahead of all of them. The reason why I don't think we're playing him this year, and this is, again, speculation, I think the club and Benji have made a conscious decision, and Rob, you would know a little bit more because you've been able to have some conversations with some people in the know. I think they wanted to see Latu have a healthy 80, 90% season of playing football. He hasn't played that much football, but at least he's been healthy for the majority of the year because he's still Latu is still eligible for Jersey flag. Let's just, you got to register that in our minds. He's someone that could still be playing Jersey flag. He's got another 10, 11, 12, 13 years, the way the game is going, in front of him as a 7 or a 6 at our club if we want him to be. So there is absolutely no rush. But I reckon now...
So why don't you play him in reserve grade, Adel? Why don't you play him in the position that you see his future in reserve grade? If he's not in the top halfback at the club this year, you see him as your halfback. We've played him at hooker and he's not a hooker. So why aren't we playing him in that position that we expect him to go forward for in the NRL?
I think what Steve said the other day was really important. He said that at the end of the day, he's still in our best 17. So, and again, we can't have it both ways. We can't say that we've got to look to the future, but then I'll also worry about the current. So
but we're letting Jarome go, and we're going to be, in my opinion, worse off next year to plan for the future.
Maybe we'll.
No, I don't think so, Gary. I think what Rob said is correct. I think Benji's decided it's time to push the button. I think on November the 1st, when we come back from preseason, it'll be clear that AD and Latu are our halves, and Latu will get a full preseason under his belt. He's not going to play in the Rugby League World Cup. He will be able to turn up to preseason training as our half. He will know that. He will know there's no blockade in front of him, and it's all systems go. And I reckon that they'll hand him the keys. That's the only presumption I can have. I mean, anything outside of that, it'll be interesting. But yeah, let's just see how it goes. I mean, let me ask you this:
Jerome will be a better footballer than last year.
But that's obvious. That's the decision a football club sometimes has to make. But we have to sacrifice 1 year of Jarome for potentially 3 or 4 years of quality with Latu and potentially Adam and Javon Andrews in the half. So,
but we could have sacrificed 1 year this year of him playing bits and pieces roles to develop him for that future.
But I don't think we knew that.
And we wanted to play finals footy.
Back to being reactionary, like one of you said. I don't think we knew that. And I think, you know, like everything, guys, the plan has to keep changing. You just can't stick to a rigid plan. They didn't expect him to want to sign with Papua New Guinea 8 weeks ago. Okay, so that was a bit of a, you know, a hit to the club as well, even though the club had clauses in there and Jarome did nothing wrong, but he took advantage of them. And I think the club were hurt by it. And I don't think that's the reason our season's gone sour. Our season's gone sour because, you know, we lost Appy to suspension. The next week we lost AD and Samuela. We've lost Buller. We've lost Taylor May multiple times. I think that's the reason we've gone bad. We've actually lost a lot of players at key times, and they're all crucial to us. What people don't know about Latu Fainu is Latu is a very humble, respectful young guy, and he thinks the absolute world of Jarome Luai. And I think when he's been on the field with Jarome Luai, he doesn't feel the seniority to overcall Jarome Luai. I think he's a lot different when he's in partnership with Adam. And by his own admission, Latu will tell you he doesn't, you know, he's lost a bit of confidence. So that's the reason Benji hasn't like thrust him in there and said, righto, you have a go at halfback. And this is from speaking to someone extremely close to him less than a fortnight ago. And I know that for a fact. Someone that's known the family for over 15 years and sees them regularly. So like Adel said, maybe with a full off season, build up his confidence. You know, his older brother or his oldest brother might not end up at our club, but his oldest brother being released from prison is going to be a huge benefit to all the Fainu brothers, okay, because they really respect their oldest brother. So I think maybe Benji's just realising he's just got to bide his time with Latu, but at the same time, I can't help but think, well, why don't you start him tomorrow? But the reason he doesn't start him tomorrow is Latu himself doesn't feel ready for the role right now.
I hate to, I just read some bad news. Sorry to kind of change the tone a little bit here. Hoff and I are sad to hear. Bonnie Tyler, the singer, died. Just found out. So shouts to Bonnie Tyler. You fan of Total Eclipse of the Heart? Hold out for a hero.
1981
Rob?
or something, Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Yeah,
remember it well.
The 80s.
I love
Any
it.
relation
Number
to
one
Steven
for
Tyler?
the song used to go for about 75
No.
minutes.
Both very feminine Tyler, so.
It was very blue like disco back in the day, that song.
I don't know any singers besides Chris Brown.
Chris Brown.
Yeah.
And just remember, guys, just back on, you know, the drama with Jarome, you know, getting him gone by the end of the year, it's a massive roll of the dice for the club. I support the club. I support Benji. It's a massive ballsy move from him. I think, you know, it helps him. We've got Josh Schuster, Junior Tupu. You don't know how they're going to develop in the off season. So we'll have money to, you know, maybe keep them. I know we've got them for next to nothing at the moment, but, you know, they're two other players that no one's mentioning that, you know, could come of age or get the best out of. So, yeah, while it's a risk, rugby league's a business, and I think Benji and Jarome know that. So is there a rift? I don't think so. Time will tell. We'll see by Jarome's performance tomorrow night. But, yeah, rugby league's a business. There's no loyalty in the game anymore. If you want loyalty, get a dog.
Hey, Josh, can
Like
I
in
ask,
Galvin.
with the people you got coming in tonight on the show, like with the Vent Pod, do any of them want to talk about Jarome Luai? Like, did you want to put any of them on now?
Yeah, I'll bring Danielle. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready to go. I'll bring Danielle on.
Just in case we don't want to cover the same stuff all the time. Like maybe they've got a different take on things.
Hi, guys.
Just as we bring Danielle in, we've got over 300 people watching on YouTube at the moment. So give us a like and a share, guys. Subscribe if you haven't already. This is the biggest show we've had basically for this show. I think you guys on Claws Out had 300 the other night as well. But for us, the biggest show probably live since the bloody when we got robbed against the freaking Cowboys 3 years ago. So give us a like and subscribe while you're there. Danielle coming in, I believe, from the beautiful Central Coast. How are you this evening?
Yeah, I'm good. I know a few of you. I've met a few before. Rob and I occasionally message him on Facebook when I'm annoyed after a loss. So
yeah.
I sort of know him. But
we met
yeah. We met at the Sherwood Hotel before the Broncos loss earlier on in the year,
Yeah,
when
with your
everything
lovely
looked
daughter.
hopeful. Yes, I have a 9-year-old daughter who has just become a West Tigers fan this year. I know, child abuse. I completely get that. Um,
No, that's
she's
Parramatta fans. Parramatta
yeah.
fans are child abuse.
Well, that's true. She absolutely loves them, and Benji is her absolute favorite person in the world. She actually met him that game and said to him, "Why don't you still play?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm a bit old for that." Um, the Jerome Luai
Fair
thing.
question.
Look, I'm a bit one of those people who's sort of like a pull off the band-aid. So I'm kind of happy now that the initial shock has died down. I feel like I don't really want him here for another season. I'd rather him just sort of go on his way and us crack Latu into the role. So Jerome is quite funny. I actually love him as a player, but as a person, he annoys the daylights out of me. I don't remember if it was Steve who said last week that he was annoyed about the Instagram post originally. I can't
Yeah,
remember who
Steve.
said it, but I was annoyed about it too, only because I feel like it was really unprofessional. And as the captain of the club, he should not be posting stuff like that on Instagram after games. But that's my opinion.
I agree,
But as a
Danielle.
player, yeah, look, as a player, I love his aggression on the field. And when he leaves the Tigers, I'll hate his aggression on the field. I remember him saying once on a post or a podcast or something that he doesn't even let his kids beat him in backyard footy. And I thought, well, that's what you want on a field. But off the field, it's not the greatest personality trait to have, I think. But overall, I mean, it probably will impact next season. I mean, obviously, I think it will impact next season, but I'm kind of happy for Latu to come in and break him in, and hopefully, moving forward, he'll get into the role.
Can't disagree with any of that.
Hey, Rob, I reckon you
No.
look good like that.
Yeah, Rob's head cut off. That's how it should be every
Yeah.
week.
What happened there?
I have a question. I have a question
Your
for Danielle.
your head's
Why-
behind
why-
the overlay. Sorry, Rob.
I have a question for Danielle. Why, if you're annoyed after a game, would you message Rob? That'd make it worse.
Well, actually, it's not even him. I think it's like, is it Steve after especially after the Newcastle and the St. George game? I drove 2.5 hours to get to the St. George game, by the way, in each direction to go and see that absolutely disgusting performance. And I think Steve was sitting in front of me during the game. And his reactions on your podcast on Sunday nights always make me feel better for the rest of the week, because my husband knows not to talk to me if West Tigers have lost.
We didn't hear you, Gary.
No, he's jealous. He's jealous that Danielle's choosing
anyone
Steve
that
as his-
agrees with Steve, that's a line through them for me.
Well, you know when you just like, it's so, I mean, the St. George thing was so frustrating. It was the 6 again, the end, like this, our last tackle options. Like I have to say, Adele, I love your podcast, like your podcast on a Sunday night, because I do not have a football brain, and someone breaking the games down for me is really helpful. But for someone who doesn't have a football game, even those 6 again, like options, those last tackle options, oh man. Did anyone else want to throw something at the TV or the game or the ground? I was like, come on.
We were live on camera, the three of
I
us.
did enough swearing to cover every West Tigers
I
fan.
said some things I regretted on the live stream.
Yeah. The only thing I got out of that game that was good, my dad has been a St. George supporter for 40 years. I've seen lots of live St. George games with him, and we've never won one, by the way. So that's good for him. The St. George fans packed out that stadium and acted like they had won a grand final when they won that game. And I actually
all
felt
been
really
there.
great for them. I was like, oh, wow, I know how that feels. It's been a while for us, but I know how that feels.
Yeah, that was us. What, the previous years, like the Cowboys game.
That was us, I
Leichhardt.
reckon. Oh,
Yeah.
even the Canberra game at Leichhardt this year was just incredible. And then what was the one after that that we didn't, that we shouldn't have won, but we did? There was our
Titans.
last game.
Lions.
Yes, that one. Yes, that was amazing too. So
Why Tigers? If your dad's a Dragons fan, why are you Tigers?
my dad's a plastic. So my dad and my grandfather and my great grandfather all grew up in Leichhardt and Balmain. So I come from a long line of Balmain supporters. My dad grew up in the 70s when the Dragons ruled, and he just decided to jump on the Dragons bandwagon. But I always remind him that he should be a Tigers fan. But yeah, I have been my whole life. I actually am the only NRL fan my husband doesn't watch NRL. I have two sons, don't watch NRL. They're all soccer
really?
people. Yeah, so
Mariners fans.
yeah, so that's why I know Sean Mellencamp. I've actually met him a few times. He's a great down to earth guy. When they finally appointed him head of West Tigers, I was actually really happy because what he did for the Mariners when he was there, he actually got us a home grand final, and it was the best game I've ever been to. It was just
that was
incredible.
wild. Everyone on the field. I remember that was probably the only soccer game I've watched non-World Cup the last few years. Everyone on the field. That was pretty cool. That's why
it was insane.
I don't know if you agree with me, Danielle. Obviously, being a coastie myself, I wish they had an NRL team. And I always think back to 2007, and it was between the Bears and Gold Coast Titans. And I know, obviously, they went with the Gold Coast. The Gold Coast has been a failure of a club for 20 years. If the Central Coast had got a team, even the Bears, it would have been a success because there's 400,000 people up there, a massive rugby league nursery. Like, how many NRL players? Like 5 coasties last night playing for the Blues. It's such like a rugby league staple. Everyone says, "Oh, you got the Knights." The Central Coast isn't. Gosford's nowhere near Newcastle. Gosford's closer to
and we don't.
Sydney than it is Newcastle. They deserve it. They've got a stadium ready to go. They've got a leagues club, junior base.
Maybe we should be the Central Coast Tigers. Is that what you're asking,
Josh? It actually almost was. I've told this story in the show before, but when I was an Erina Eagles junior, and we had the Balmain Tigers come, I reckon, in 90. Post Super League, 97, I reckon it was, or during the Super League. I remember Wayne Pearce and everyone coming because Balmain were actually very close. You'd probably be able to confirm this, Rob. Balmain actually almost became the Central Coast Tigers. They were very close to that happening. Before Northern Eagles jumped in, the Tigers were actually going to move up the coast for financial reasons.
They definitely wanted it. But it never came about. But actually, I'm not going to lie, I was a fan of it, Josh. And I'm with you.
Perfect.
Getting the Titans again was an absolute knee-jerk reaction to the AFL starting the Suns up there or whatever they're called. They're a failure. They don't get enough support there. And the Central Coast, that would have kicked off straight away. Another bad decision by the NRL. But anyway, it is what it is.
I have to admit that even if...
two things? Sorry. Can I just say two things? Let's not say Balmain one more time because I think Shane might disappear.
Yeah, I was about to say. I'll just say one again.
Say it again.
Well, if
it was two things to say.
If it was Central Coast Tigers, Magpies would have died. But anyway, go on.
I've got two to say. First, I'll go back to you, Danielle. You said earlier on St. George, ruled the 70s. I think you find the West Magpies ruled the 70s.
Didn't they win 11 in a row
around those times? So I was going to let it go, but now I've got the microphone. And had the Tigers gone to Central Coast, West would be, how many comps would West have won by now?
You would have been dead.
We all know.
You've been the same as you've been the Newtown
financially by Balmain. So
you would have had a New South Wales Cup team.
Hey, I drive to Campbelltown at least 6 times a year, so you could have driven to the coast.
That's good to hear, Danielle, because I did say a few weeks
Danielle,
about the Campbelltown crowd that the coasties, it's very hard for the coasties.
So
I will correct myself. It is actually only 20 minutes further than Leichhardt.
I go to every home game with the exception if I have something on, which is pretty rare. I do prioritize the Tigers over absolutely everything. And my husband, God love him, who, as I said, doesn't watch NRL, he will check the scores on the way when I'm driving home, so he knows what mood I'm coming home in. And then I try to go to as many off games as well. Like I drove out to to Cogra the other day. But I do hate the Friday night ones because I did want to go tomorrow night, but I have to leave at 1:30 to get there on time to
Beat the
see that
traffic.
game because of Friday night traffic. So
Yeah.
I probably won't go to tomorrow night's one, but I'll definitely be at the Bulldogs the week after.
Make sure you come to the Canberra watch along, Danielle, at the Summit
I
Hill
will
Hotel.
actually. I've never done one of
It's
your
a-
watch-alongs, and
it's
every
fun.
week
So
you
it's
say,
really
and I
good.
probably should.
Get on the
Yes, I
train at-
probably.
Yeah.
What's your close? I think Arimba might be your closest train
Yeah.
station.
I can
straight-
drive. I don't drink.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
So,
That's
but I can come and at least scream with someone because I usually
Yeah.
scream at home by myself. I've broken a
Yeah.
few TV remotes on my own. So
Yeah, come swear to the camera like
Yep.
I did. We did
Bring the
last week.
family. It's very family oriented. The Summit Hill Hotel. Get lunch. It's
yes,
a great place.
yeah,
Good,
Great
good
afternoon.
palmy. Everyone
Yeah.
saw me eating the palmy. On
yeah.
Hoff,
Actually,
do you give
we
me permission to crash out?
What was
Do you
that?
give me permission to crash? I'm going to bring out my inner Jerome Luai for a second. Is that okay?
yeah,
Go for it.
You're fine. You're fine, Adele.
Because I've just read some of our comments on our YouTube chat. Damien Anderson, go find a wall. What did Rob Bashara Jr. say?
Something to
and
do with a
headbutt
knife.
a knife. And headbutt a knife. Seriously,
What's he
all he's
saying?
been doing is been negative to everybody for the last 45 minutes.
That's all he does. Just I wouldn't have even mentioned his name. That's all he does. He's
Anyway,
got no whatsoever.
I didn't swear, by the way, so that's good. That's all
Danielle,
I wanted to say.
you got a shout out from Liam. Liam Murphy's used his 6 months of membership super chat to say, get Danielle Danielle on Hear Her Roar.
Oh, I'd love to. Actually, I met Rach as well at the Dragons game from Hear Her Roar. Was it Rach? Yeah, she was really
she's
nice.
in the chat.
We all
now.
looked really enthusiastic at the beginning of the game, and then we all looked like we were going to kill someone at the end. So our very small amount of people, but man, like I actually came on here when I messaged you, Josh, earlier on in the week. I was really fired up, but now I feel really calm and I'm okay now at the end of the week. But I will say the one thing that bothers me, and I'm sure this bothers everyone, that it's July, and to me, like the season's done. Hey,
No, it's
and
not.
like
It's not done.
and 16 years, and I was like walking back to the car with my dad after the Dragons game, and I was like, oh, like I hope I see it one more time in my lifetime because 2005 was really good, and it just feels like it was like a distant memory now. It was so long ago.
Where were you in 2022, Danielle?
I actually
Because we won a premiership in 2022, by the way.
Oh yeah, okay. But no, I don't know. I actually hate what bugs me every week, and the Jarome Luai thing, like that was fine. But what bugs me is that we seem to be the only club that every single time something like this happens, it gets leaked or gets unprofessionally like announced from the club. It just feels like our club is always in a shambles and it's not run very professionally. And I'm sick of that. I'd actually be really happy if we had a great structured club. Winning is important, but to me, like that's what bothers me the most about West Tigers. And I've always said, oh, I'll just go follow another team. But deep down, none of us can actually do that.
No, we're all sickos. We're all in.
I mean,
life,
I'm one of those crazy people that's actually paying to go to Vegas next year. So
you've got tickets. Wow.
So I actually work for. I'm going to have a plug. I'll do a really quick plug. I work
go
for
for
a
it.
company. I work for a company called Keith Prowse Travel, and we are one of the partners that are selling the packages to the rugby league NRL. I book all the flights for that company, so I'm their flight specialist.
Do you need an ambassador to go on the trip for your company at all?
I'm paying to go myself, actually. And my dad actually said to me last week, he's like, are we really paying like $2,000 to see NRL kill the Tigers in Vegas? And I was like, oh, Dad, no, don't say that.
Yeah, 100%. That's what was the company called again?
Keith Prowse Travel.
Keith Prowse Travel.
How do you spell that?
So it's Keith as in Keith, and then Prowse Travel. And they don't just sell NRL packages. We're the official partner of the Socceroos. So we just wrapped up the FIFA World Cup. And we said Wimbledon and Formula One. We're actually the official Formula One partner in Australia as well.
That's
so yeah,
where
we
I've
do.
seen it.
So yeah, so I sell sporting for a job, which is the best job in the world.
Yeah. I need that job. I want to go.
Danielle, we'll have to speak to you about some sponsorship for West Tigers TV, I think.
Well,
Yeah, I think
this
you
is great.
should. My boss is really nice, so I think we should definitely
We'll start a
do
Dragons
that.
podcast for him.
Oh, no, don't do that.
Not with us. We'll find. I don't know.
I was gonna. You'll have to find someone else. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Taylor, you haven't got your camera on. Turn your camera on, buddy, so we know you're ready to go. But anything else, Danielle, before we?
No, I think the only other thing I wanted to say really quickly is the same thing as everyone else. Like, I feel like what's with the boys' club at the NRL? I mean, at the West Tigers. Like, why is it all 2005 coaching staff and
I've been saying for years. I'll
just really quickly say that we need a proper head of football there that is not part of the 05 boys club. I'm really happy. I love Benji. I'm a huge fan of Benji. The way he has handled the media this year, and obviously the players love him. I mean, anyone who has loved this club for more than 5 minutes knows that no one has ever wanted to play at West Tigers for the last few years. We don't attract good players. And now all of a sudden Benji comes along and we attract good players. I'm a big fan of him, but I do feel like that he might need someone underneath him for a little while that's done a little bit more coaching. But I'd even be happy if we just had a director of football that isn't a part of the 05 team. That would make me happy.
What about someone of the 22 premiership team?
I trust Sean Mellencamp. I'm a part of. I'm a big I've been a Mariners fan since 2005. I trust him. I feel like, as I said, I'm okay if Luai goes because I just trust what he does, and I have a lot of faith in him and Benji. So I'm just going to continue to pay my membership and go along for the ride.
As we all will as well. Thank you so much, Danielle.
That's all right, guys. Yeah, I'll see you guys.
2 weeks.
I'll see you guys. Yeah, what game is that?
The
Raiders.
25th of July. 25th of July.
Okay, all right. I will see you. I will bring Audrey and I will come down and she can experience some crazy West Tigers viewing.
All right, we're definitely going to have to. How old's Audrey?
She's 9.
Okay, yeah, no, we'll promise not to swear.
Oh, that's okay. No. So she grew up with me. So swearing during West Tigers games is completely normal for her.
It's the Central Coast language of the Central Coast anyway. That's what.
It was so nice to meet you, Adel. I think you're amazing. Keep going with your podcast, and I love all of you guys. You're all great.
Thanks,
you get me through my week. See you guys.
Except for you, Shane.
Danielle.
Josh, before I go tonight, can I just plug for any West Tigers fans, if we're a little bit upset this year with the results, get on board the South Logan Magpies. We're coming from flying. Go the Magpies. I expect you at a game this year, Shane, at some stage. Sunday, 2:00, we're playing the East Tigers. So it's the Magpies versus the Tigers. 2:00 on Channel 9. So tune in and watch the boys go around on Sunday.
Is that available? Is that on Sydney, Channel 9?
Yeah. So, actually, I don't know. I know it's on KO and Fox.
Oh, is it?
I don't know if it's on Channel 9 Sydney, but it's on Channel 9 Brisbane. I know that. So.
The neutralizer.
How's our mate Rob going?
Sorry, Del. The neutralizer 77 cents is $2 to say scram Damien and eat chocolate ice cream. Does anyone know who's Damien? Who's he referring to?
He's the dickhead. He's the dickhead I was talking
about.
Okay.
There's a couple more in there, Adel.
Oh, they're coming out of the woodwork tonight, aren't they? Seriously.
Mate,
and by the way, sorry, I used the word dickhead. It's not dickhead. They're morons. Sorry, that's the word we use.
It can be both.
Get behind your club. Get behind your club. We're on the cusp of making the 8 and people are just throwing rocks. It shits me. We're all West Tigers supporters.
Mate, what club are you watching?
Hey?
We're not making the 8.
Taylor, how are
We're
you
not
going,
making
buddy?
the 10.
I'm good, thanks, boys. How are you guys?
Good. Where are you phoning in from, Taylor?
The glorious King's Cross.
King's
Oh.
Cross.
Hey,
Hoff's old stomping around.
Yeah.
You go.
Night's still young.
Back in the 70s, Hoff. King's Cross.
I've dabbled near Elaine's fountain once or twice.
I've heard King's Cross, he nearly took his clothes off.
Rob, were you a big King's Cross person in the 80s in your
He's there
heyday?
now with the rug room.
Didn't you watch the Underbelly?
I did.
No,
I,
not at all, mate. Not at all.
I'd be lying.
Occasionally at a nightclub there, but that was about it. I forget what
I
the
was-
name was.
I'd be lying if I wasn't going to ask if Rob was related to what was his name? The nightclub King.
Ibrahim.
Ibrahim.
Johnny.
Ibrahim.
Johnny boy.
The tunnel.
Considering he's not Lebanese, it'd be pretty hard to be related to him.
Rob,
isn't
he is
he?
Lebanese. He is
I thought he was
Lebanese.
Yeah, he's Lebo, isn't he?
Isn't he
He's
Egyptian?
Lebanese, Rob. No, he's Lebanese, Rob.
Well, the fact that you know that puts you in a more precarious position.
You don't want to know who I know, Rob.
Oh, I better be nice to you then, mate. Stop. I won't criticise you for being all sunshine and lollipops every week.
Oh, don't mention lollipops. We can't do that on this show, Rob.
Let's say hello to
last
Taylor,
time,
eh? Let's say hello to Taylor.
How are you going, Taylor?
G'day,
Yeah,
Taylor.
pretty good. Could have been worse. Could have been worse day today, but that's all right.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on the Luai situation and everything West Tigers at the moment?
In one of my group chats, sort of early on, once the PNG thing unfolded, it was one of the sort of scenarios I sort of foresaw coming. Not to be completely dire about every situation that tends to happen with this club, but particularly when it comes to players moving on as a club and as a fan base, typically these things just don't turn into a positive situation more often than not. And unfortunately, I think the biggest thing about Luai kind of making the decision he made at the time, it just ended up being a situation where he had been kind of not just the team's kind of golden hope of leadership, but for the fan base as well, part of the identity that we were all kind of leading toward, hoping, for premiership glory, if not this year, next year and beyond. I think that kind of light tended to dim once that sort of situation played out. And I think, unfortunately, it's got to this point in time where it's better for us as a club to kind of move on and plan for the future, as much as that's, again, to Rob's point, another shift in a plan 2 years into a 5-year sort of situation.
Anyone got a response to that across the...
I think,
No, obviously, I agree with that, Taylor. Totally. It's just, I think the problem that our whole fan base is going to have, and it's going to happen whether we like it or not, guys. This is going to be in the news now, probably for the rest of the year. And as a fan base, we're sick of the negative media, and we kind of got rid of that for a while, and it was pretty good for a while there too, till all the Galvin stuff, and then that stayed pretty much till he left, and then every time he played, we were mentioned in the same breath, and now it just seems like it's going to happen again. But if you just can get through that cloud of journalism and just look at it like it's a business decision, and we're doing it for the right reasons, and Jarome's upset for the right reasons, I think it's just play on, guys. And I know it sounds crazy because I've kind of given up on the season, but all that matters is winning tomorrow night. You win tomorrow night, you got to sniff with a run of, Canterbury and Canberra and Parramatta and a bye and St George and pretty much teams that are either next to us on the ladder or below us. So, and then we'll probably be regretting the 4 points that we've given away the last few weeks. So it's not totally dead and buried yet, but we're going to find out tomorrow night whether it is.
So, Taylor, you're happy that we're doing this now and not leaving it till the end of the year?
I'm not. Well, happy is definitely not the word. I think the only people probably happy about it are the morons that Adel sort of mentioned that have probably had it out for Luai right from the get-go. And again, he's a polarizing figure and everything, but I think, when he came into the club's plans, you couldn't help but kind of get a little bit excited about a 4-time premiership winner joining the team. Happiness isn't the word for it, but I think at the time the Papua New Guinea situation sort of came to a front, it was either going to go one of two ways. Either it was off the back of beating the crap out of the Raiders at Leichhardt, we're then either going to go to Cronulla and embarrass them again. And unfortunately, the to Rob's point, the media focus for that game shifted from, the Sharks had been embarrassed the week before, and were then having to play a home game against us who are on the rise. That shifted from that to what's the Tigers' reaction going to be to Luai leaving. And granted, we had some terrible luck with injuries, which is another thing I want to talk about in a little bit. But then got completely blown out by 50. And then that sort of inherently turned the season on this downward trajectory where if we'd continued that ascent following the Luai sort of situation, I don't think there would have been that same issue with us thinking that we were no longer a chance for either a premiership this year and then subsequently not a chance for next year as well, which I think that's what sort of played into it, is that given the injuries that we've had and that sort of, I guess, question of leadership from Luai, it's probably given us a bit of a negative perception of what this year and next is going to look like.
Yeah, what I meant by "Are you happy?" is now that it's out in the open and it's happening. Do you think putting this to bed now and having the rest of the year to secure more players helps the Tigers than us keeping him until the end of the season and then it all comes out then?
Yeah, I think, again, at least this is a chance for everyone to kind of rectify it earlier in the year and kind of really start to get back into that optimistic sort of mindset leading into the off season. It'll be interesting kind of which club ends up potentially taking that option on him and how much of that split is. And again, to what Adel said earlier, what the split of the cap sort of ends up being if we're front loading guys, or if potentially similar to Terrell May a couple of years ago, someone else falls out of the tree that we're able to snag and even potentially improve our hopes for next season even more.
Has anyone mentioned Spencer Lanu tonight? Can we go after him?
We were talking about before we come.
Did we say that on air or off air? Yeah, Spencer Lanu, he's on the outer of the Roosters, isn't he? We pick him up.
But that's the thing. Do we want to sign a big shiny toy, or do we want to improve our 30-man roster? I think
how much do you reckon he'd cost? He's not.
Well, if you're getting him from the Roosters, you're getting his contract. You're not getting a new deal. You're basically, unless the Roosters are forking out part of it, and that could be what we look to do. We look to find someone who clubs want to let go of, that they're going to, at least pay a little bit of their contract out. But that's what we've got to trust is a part of this decision. And the truth is, we're not going to be able to judge this until December, January, maybe, is when we try to figure out whether this was a good decision. And that's just part of the business of rugby league, is how it stands at the moment. So, like Taylor said, when we made some of those decisions a few years ago and we had cap space and we picked up a Terrell May, that was a big moment in our preseason, wasn't it, at the time? So we're not going to know what this decision actually is until, I would say, December, January this year. Or December, January.
I just want to jump in and say, this is basically the same thing that's happened with the PNG situation when he decided to sign with PNG. We're going to need the same medicine to get over it. And what I mean by that is we were all hurt that Jarome signed with PNG, and how we dealt with it and how we moved on was, this is great that we know now and not in November, and we can sign a whole bunch of players. Okay. And we did. We got Buller, we got that. And it's literally the sequel to what happened with the PNG signing, only this time it's come from the club side as opposed to the players' side, even though it still involves Jarome Luai as the subject. So the only way I'm going to get over the hurt of it is by realising that this is for the betterment of the club. No one wants better for the club than the club itself. And given Benji is so close to Jarome Luai, it wouldn't have been an easy decision for him. But it's just how it is. That's the only way we're going to get over it, guys. And probably a little bit more medicine would be for Jarome Luai to give his all, every game, every week for the rest of the year, and maybe just shut a few more people to bed. He might not be putting out $1.2 million performances, but, we're getting some troops back. Problem is we're just facing a really top-notch team tomorrow night, and we're down on confidence. But I think that's the only way we get over it, guys. We've just got to realise better to know now so we can secure Samuela, possibly Latu, possibly another person from another club. But the club's made its mind up. That's it. And we just have to move on. And all we're doing is torturing ourselves if we just, I had a good 3 or 4 hours of having the shits. Adel, Gary, Steve, Eddie, Rob Jr., they'll all tell you that. Okay. But I've seen sort of the perspective of it now. And, it is what it is. We just move on. If we win tomorrow night, we're not going to give a shit.
I couldn't tell any difference from any other day, Rob.
Mate, you need to find a comedy channel, mate. It's not worth it.
Do you know the other thing? The other thing that today would also do is tomorrow, player managers will be knocking on our door because they know there's cap space.
Yeah.
So we're going to get, and the beauty of it is we've shown the strength from a club perspective to say, and I apologise for swearing, you can't fuck around with us. We will make tough decisions and we will move people on. And that's what we did today. That's what we did that's the big move. That it's a ballsy move. I mean, as much as you want to talk about it from a drama and turmoil and the type of stuff the media talks, it's a ballsy move for us to do what we just did today. And Benji to make that decision. So, there'll be people knocking on our doors tomorrow and we get the cherry pick which one of those player managers who are going to offer some of their players and talk about, there's that player that probably is a little bit upset at his current club and it hasn't come out publicly, but then they, these managers, what they do is they'll make a phone call and say, well, is there any interest if this player becomes available? And we might get first shot because at the moment, these sort of spaces in the cap are not to clubs sort of in our position. They're usually at the bottom of the table, which I guess we could end up there as well. But with rosters probably a little bit less than ours. So, look, again, we're not going to be able to judge this till probably the end of the year, start of next year.
Go, Taylor. It's been a while since you were our guest tonight. Yeah. Any response to that, or you said you wouldn't? Any response to what the boys said there, or you want to talk about injuries? I think you said before.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what was just being said about kind of we won't know what this is actually going to look like until sort of at the back end of the year. So it's good that that's actually we've got the momentum rolling with that at this stage. As far as the injuries were concerned, Adel, I'd like to get your sort of perspective on this potentially, because it's a topic that you've discussed sort of in the past, more so to do with, player travel and some of the, cost-cutting sort of measures the club sort of makes. The Centre of Excellence was basically completed and opened, I think, now coming up to 3 or 4 years ago. This season, whilst a lot of it's been sort of unfortunate, sort of bad luck and sort of impact or whatnot, sort of injuries, it's reminiscent of, I think, 2014, where our injury toll was so bad we had to put Corey Patterson on the wing. I think considering the guys that were at the helm of the club and the ownership group that we have in store, at the time of when the Centre of Excellence was coming together, is it fair to say that at this stage we haven't really seen the results as far as the strength and conditioning is concerned? I don't think there's many players that have improved physically from what I can see that have come to the club. And our juniors sort of tend to end up being a little bit weaker when they first start in first grade compared to what other teams do. Is it potential that the Centre of Excellence is really just the centre of status quo and it was a vanity project sort of all along rather than in the interest of strong competitiveness?
Well, first of all, I'll say that I know this year, and that's credit to Sean, the NRL have had all expenses covered. Like there's been nothing left unturned. So that's been given to them this year. Last year I know Richard was really tight on what was allowed from a budget perspective with the football department, and obviously in years gone by with previous administration, it was really, really tight. Rob got a tickle out of the fact that our previous CEO actually texted me to try to tell me that wasn't the case, but that was the case. Look, I've been lucky enough to go to multiple of the new Centre of Excellences that all the clubs have had. The Concord is the best. It's still the best of all of them. So from a facility perspective, it's in the top. I'm trying to think. I think Parramatta's one is pretty good. There's a couple of new ones that are being built at the moment that probably will go past ours. But of the current ones, the Bulldogs one's going to be massive. But Again,
Do you
I'm
think?
no expert with regards to SNC and high performance. So it's the one part, I know a lot. That's a joke, by the way. I think I like to think that I know a lot, but one thing I don't know much about is the high performance and the S&C component of the game. So it's something I don't really touch on too much. I don't really try to delve into that because I've literally no idea when it comes to performance and injuries and all that sort of stuff. Like it's something that even at the current stage of the current club I'm at, when they start talking about it, I just zone out. Can they play or can't they play? That's literally the question I ask, and that's as far as it goes.
Taylor, can I just jump in and say that there's one example of that centre of excellence that shows that it does work, and it's only one example, and I think it's a case too, and I mentioned it on Sunday night. We need a lot more athletes like your prototype New Zealand Warrior players that we see coming through the juniors. There's one player at our club called Samuela Fainu. If you're ever looking for him or you want to find him somewhere, mate, go to the Centre of Excellence. He lives there. He works on his body. He lives at that gym. And having watched him live last year compared to watching him this year, I can't believe how much bigger he is than what he was in previous years. So I think he's one example of what that Centre of Excellence can do if you're prepared to go there and do the hard work. And like I said, speaking to a close family friend a couple of Fridays ago, actually, he said, mate, Samuel is always there. He's always training. You can't get him out of there. So if the players want to improve and develop and be bigger and stronger and faster, they've got the resources to do it. So we can't blame anyone else but the players if they're not developing themselves. And Samuel is a prime example of what that place can do for you.
I agree.
Yeah, I guess even Alex Twoll's another one that's absolutely gone leaps and bounds over the past couple of years in many ways. I guess at times get a bit confused as to some of the, even just not necessarily the physical or athletic attributes of players, but I think it's been touched on a couple times. Some of our decision making and game planning and situational awareness in games is also quite lacking. So I don't know. Yeah, I just sometimes get a bit frustrated that these are things that you want to see kind of, I guess, more steady improvement rather than one or two players sort of, I guess, showing those attributes. Sorry, Shane.
Yeah. Hey, Taylor, do you think, like, after everything said about the Centre of Excellence, do you think we should maybe reintroduce the hairdresser there?
I mean, especially some of the players, some of the stuff growing out the back, it's been very questionable, but I can't really talk either. So,
just to clarify that, a barber would come in once a week for like 3 hours to do haircuts. So it
was a chair.
dramatic as people made it out to be.
I was lucky enough to go to like the old Concord Oval when they used to train there, and I've done a tour of it after. Mate, it was a shithole before. Like literally most public high schools would have a gym as good as the one, like the old one. Like it was like a dank, like real, like it just didn't look like a nice place to be. And while people, a lot of people will say, oh, you're still lifting the same, like a barbell and a dumbbell is the same amount of weight, no matter if it has the West Tigers logo and all these nice little creature comforts like on the side of it. But the players when you're going in and into a training facility, I'm not like, obviously I'm not an elite athlete of the sorts, but you can only imagine that, and I'm sure Adel will back this up, for them to go in and out of like training every day in a place that's like, the new one's like open and like bright, the big wrestling mat with the logos, like it's like a luxury hotel as opposed to staying in a Best Western. Like a Best Western, yeah, sure, you only sleep in the bed, but it's so much nicer when you walk into it's just, and mentally for a player to walk in and out, and obviously trying to sign a player too when you give them a tour, it just looks like a nicer place to be, and it might only give you 1-2% more per session or something like that coming in every day, but compared to what it was, Adel, were you there? You were there pre Zurich Centre, weren't you?
I was at the Demountables, so at Central Park.
Oh, okay.
When I started,
well, even then, that was
you're 100% right, Josh. Like, not just the players, the coaches, the administration, everybody that works at the club. When you walk into that place, Like for me, I would spend hours on hours there because anytime I could have sat at home and did all our review and all our football work, but I would go in on a Sunday morning after we play on a Saturday, for example, and I'd spend 3-4 hours there, and you'd see other coaches from whether it be the NRL or your New
West
South Wales
Harbour.
Cup, they just well, West Harbour's downstairs, but they turn up because you're in an environment you want to beat with. And you'd hear that the NRL have got 3 or 4 days off. In those 3 or 4 days the girls are on, the NRL players are coming in and out. Like Rob was saying, they live there. They love it. It's a facility, and obviously the club gives access to the players, the partners, the families. So everybody's always there. From a facility perspective, it's A1. Now I've just got a text message, boys, and this is not from a credible source. Can I just say? But you
Here
know
we go.
what? Let the games begin. Let the games begin. But this guy's from up here, and he has said that the person on our radar, and this is going to piss off a few people because obviously we all want Latu to be in our halves, is Cody Nikorima.
Yeah, someone said that in our chat earlier.
Now, I'm not going to lie. I read that.
Another half?
Well, but this is the thing, right? It's about winning. So if we think it's going to win and there's a contract there, again, it's not a credible source. This person's from actually up here and has a sort of connection to the Dolphins perspective. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, that...
Good player.
it's
but
interesting.
Yeah, great player.
it's another roadblock for last year, though.
Yeah, like how would he feel?
Well, that's the $1 million question, and that's going to be the conversations that have over the next couple of weeks, the next couple of months. Is are we going long term, and are we putting Latu in the spotlight and giving him the keys, or are we going to sign someone else?
How old is he? He's
Adel-
in his 30s now, isn't he?
Yeah, he'd be early 30s.
I'll look it up.
Adel, is that the message? Is that an indicator of potentially? Would that be a player swap for Luai, or is that on the premise of we're moving Luai on somewhere else to then pick up Nikorima from
He
the
won't, he
Dolphins
won't
potentially?
get He won't get a Queensland.
This person's from up here. Again, there's nothing credible about it.
Mhm.
But as soon as I read it, it sort of alerted me a little bit to say, is that like I'd never thought of that? Like, do we go out and sign another half to come to the club? Like, it's not something that went through my head. So
The other
He's
thing,
33 next year.
the other thing
From
is
the
the
outside looking in,
Dolphins are
Sorry,
trying to
Rob,
make
sorry.
space for Cody. The Dolphins are trying to keep him now. Given how well he's playing. So, and it goes against that whole narrative of Latu starting next year. But I mean, I'm not going to lie. I mean, he's playing off his face. He's playing at number 6 at the Dolphins, but he could play 7 or 6. So, I don't know. But again, yeah, we don't want to speculate too much. I think Latu is the guy that's going to be there next year, boys.
It's a podcast. You're supposed to speculate. Sorry, Gary.
Adele, from the outside looking in, if you were coaching at the West Tigers and Jarome Luai was leaving the club, would you be happy with what we got at the club now, or would you be looking elsewhere?
you know my feelings about Latu. I think Latu should have been our half for the last 2 years, no matter how good Adam's been playing. My perception is I think they were always going to the goalposts have moved because of Jarome. I think it was going to be Latu and Jarome next year, and I think Benji was going to make a big decision what he did with Adam. That was my opinion. I think the goalposts have moved now, and Latu will be in the halves with Adam next year. Look, I got to watch Latu play junior reps. That all of these other guys, that they weren't even. It was him and Katoa. Him and Katoa were the same. Obviously, we're not talking about him and Katoa are the same right now. They're not even close to each other, considering how good Katoa is. But that is the level that Latu was playing at when he was playing at junior reps. So, from a potential perspective, I just think you roll with him, and you roll with him through the good and the bad. And I think we just have to cop whatever medicine we cop, no matter how poorly he starts. You've just got to see him for what he is. The touches of class that he has about him. I mean, just the little things that he can do. His ability to change tempo is no one else at our club's got that. No one else at our club has had that probably since Benji. So it's just so much to what he does that is going to make us a better football side. And all the complaints we have about our red zone attack, if Latu's in charge of it, I'm not going to say it's going to be perfect, but it will be much better because of the fact that he has that control of his tempo in regards to how he plays with the ball. But also, more importantly than all that, he's a dynamic runner of the football. He is one of the best runners of the football you'll find as a half. We just haven't seen it yet. And I know it's easy for us to say, or it's easy for me to say this off his potential, but we're never going to know until we give him a red hot crack. And this is our opportunity.
So you just mentioned that you thought Benji would be looking at moving AD next year. Would you maybe look at another half to partner Latu and still make that move of AD?
For the centers, a lock? What? Like,
No,
what are we talking
no. I don't think you do it now. But Adams, what? Rob, you'd know better. Adams getting closer to 30 now, wouldn't he be?
No. He's
27?
still young, mate. I think he's 26. I could be wrong, but I'll look it up.
He'd be about 27,
got you.
26, 27. So, but yeah, it'd be one of those things, Gary, is you judge how we perform. I mean, if Latu
28
and Adam
in
are
a
our
month.
halves, yeah,
Okay.
if Adam and Latu are our halves next year, we make the 8, or you don't make any moves. But you've just got this is rugby league. You've got to keep moving things until you find the exact combination you need. And sometimes tough decisions have to be made. The Roosters did it with Mitchell Pearce. The Panthers did it with James Maloney before they actually won a comp. Like, you've got to make these tough decisions, even though you sit there and you think, this is the guy for us. But is he the guy that can get you over the hump is the question. I'm not talking about Adam specifically in this situation, but I'm saying at some stage, it may be that Latu flops next year. And we say, well, Latu's not for us. It could be all of these things. You cannot just sit on your hands and think, this is the plan, we're sticking with the plan regardless. You've still got to have success, especially in the modern day. So it could be anything. But I just think from a Latu's perspective, until you know, you will never know. And for us to know, we've got to give him a chance.
Hey,
Josh,
Adel.
can I ask Taylor a question?
So, sorry, I had both you and Hoff in my ear at the same time. Then. Say it again.
Okay, can I ask Taylor a question?
Of course.
Absolutely.
Quickly.
Yeah, Taylor, you said earlier, like, you're a little bit disillusioned by, some of our lack of IQ in attack and what have you. And I want to get your perspective on Benji a little bit. We all know he's a great man manager and he gets the players to play for him. Do you think it's a matter of he can't coach X's and O's, or do you think it's a matter that he just doesn't see the importance of being technical and he's more about just keeping it simple and getting the boys to play for him?
I think we're probably at a point where our squad, the evolution of it and the way things have kind of changed in the past sort of year or so is that I think that Benji said it a few times, still haven't found our style as yet. And I think part of that is him not knowing how to kind of guide them the way that absolutely leads to success. We've only won 3 games in a row once in the time of which Benji's been coaching, which also means that we haven't found a consistent way of winning from a style of play that makes sense all the time. And so with all these injuries and changes to the squad, the game plan is constantly shifting and changing. I know, Rob, you've had frustrations with the amount of times where the back line shifts from one week to another. One player's on the wing in the center, he's on the left or the right. And that versatility is great if you've got it, but if you don't have it and it's not succeeding all the time, then as a coach, I would assume that you're still trying to clutch for what actually works more often than not. And that sort of tends to kind of, I think, partly the issue as well and why we're potentially pulling the plug on Luai. He's had some great games where, especially in defense, he's guiding his side and keeping everyone on numbered up and everything. But we do tend to kind of go missing in that 20 to 30 meter kind of range attack. We just don't have anyone that really steps up and kind of guides the team as consistently as we would like. Some weeks it's fine, some sets it's fine, other weeks it's just playing in slow motion and the direction just doesn't seem to be there.
Fair enough.
I forgot what I was going to say.
I know.
I know what I was going to
It's
say.
a highlight being on a pod with you, Bob.
Oh, this is the first time with you, Adel. Likewise, mate.
We've also got
Love you to
6
death.
people on.
Hey, I've got a question for you, Adel. So, how much notice should a fan take out of performances for Cup compared to NRL? I say this because last weekend, against a good St George side in Cup, both Latu, Javon Andrews both had blinders. You know, how much should you look into that? Because I know there is a step up. How big is that step from Cup to NRL?
Yeah, it's a big step. It's not like the older reserve grade days, where you had 8 or 9 first graders playing reserve grade. It is a big step down in the current format. Look, it's a tough one, to be honest. But where depending on where you are on the table can sort of dictate how much notice you got to take to that. Also, who you're playing in Cup, because the gap between the best teams in New South Wales Cup or Queensland Cup and the low-ranked teams is usually a pretty big one as well. So you take that into consideration as well. Like your Manleys and your St Georges are down the bottom of the New South Wales Cup table. So, and those squads, and usually what you do is you look at the NRL squads. When the NRL squads are strong and they're going well and they've got no injuries, usually the New South Wales Cup squads are pretty strong. So that's sort of the best way to look at it. Look, I think Javon is a good player. I think he's still at least another year away from being being considered as a first grader. I'm not saying he can't have a shot and see how he goes, but smarter people than me will make those decisions, mate.
Yeah. Well, let's go on to tomorrow night. You know, we've got a couple of debutants. We've got Jared Haywood. What do we think of? How do you think he's going to go tomorrow night?
He's the best of all our kids by a country mile, and that's respectfully. And I don't consider Latu a kid. I mean, he's played a lot of first grade. Of all the young kids, he's the best of them by a country mile. So I'm looking forward. Don't worry about the Warriors tomorrow night and the size. That will be actually a strength for him tomorrow night. The fact that he gets to play against those guys. We talked about it earlier in the season, and I think Benji would have preferred not to have had to play him this year, but the Tristan Hope situation and obviously Uppy being injured has meant he's had to play him. But he's we talked about Robbie Farah debuted at the same age. It would have been around the same round when he played first grade for the first time. So, I'm looking forward to seeing him play tomorrow night. And it doesn't matter what he does for the rest of this year. There's no judgment on his ability or his performance. It's everything he does is a bonus.
I know I'm the minority by thinking we're going to win tomorrow night. But how do we win? How do we beat the Warriors tomorrow night, guys?
Score more points than them.
Score more tries. That's my line.
I'll leave that to Adel to answer.
Oh, I don't think we can win tomorrow night off, to be honest. I think, and it's got nothing to do with football. I just think confidence-wise, we are so down as a football group at the moment. It just and that's the only way we're going to do this. We're going to have to. It's going to be the Warriors going to have to play really bad tomorrow night. That's what it's going to be. If the Warriors are at their best, they beat us tomorrow night. And I'm not being negative. I'm just giving perspective of how the two teams are looking at the moment. We're going to need them to come down to our level. A bit of rain down at Campbelltown would be nice tomorrow. Turn into a bit of a slugfest like the Newcastle game and try to scrape a win because, again, no uppy and a little bit of down on confidence. I think it's going to be a struggle for us tomorrow because I've watched the Warriors play now twice this year. Rob talked about it with you guys on Tuesday night. They're one of the best coach teams in the competition. They are a fantastic football team, and at their best, they're one of the teams that can threaten the Panthers. So we're going to have to hope the Warriors are not at their best tomorrow night.
What about you, Taylor?
Guys, at captain's run today, we did train with Taruva at right centre and Toa on the left wing as we played against St George. So we won't be lining up as we are numbered. We'll be lining up as we played against St George.
I think Adele's right. I think they don't want to swap jerseys so they're the same size.
I will say,
why do we keep doing this?
Guys, that was said to me today, which I found, well, not today, actually, was said to me on Tuesday. I found it very interesting. I got a text saying that the kid's going to play, Jared Haywood, and some of the players are very worried about him playing. They don't believe he's ready. So I'm very curious to see if he gets on the field and for how long he plays for. And I just hope it doesn't go pear-shaped. I'm a fan of his. I want him to have a go, whether he goes well or not. But just for the fact that some players are worried about him playing and think he's not ready, I think that's a very interesting situation.
What the players need to do is shut the fuck up and perform.
100%. 100%. No doubt. Well, we haven't been winning, have we?
And if we're at the point where...
If
we're at the point where players are expressing that to anyone. I'm really worried about where we're sitting as a club going into this game. I'm really worried about this game tomorrow. We're not a team that copes well with adversity and I think it's been shown over the last couple of years when these sort of things happen, we don't come out and perform well. I think the Luai situation earlier in the year affected the confidence of the team, and we went through a month where we lost games. I'm really worried the Warriors could actually do a little bit of a number on us tomorrow night.
It feels very on brand for Jarome Luai to fire up tomorrow. I don't necessarily think that will result in a win for us, but he does his best work whenever there is something to prove. And the fact that this has come out today, I potentially expect him to be showing off a little bit.
I agree.
Do the others go with him, though?
I'll tell you what, if we do snag a win, and with the run we've got the next 4 or 5 weeks, telling him to look elsewhere might turn out to be one of the greatest things we've ever done if it reignites our season.
Are you going to be back on the bus, Rob, if we win tomorrow night?
I'm not going to be back on the bus, but I hate it when my kids make me look like an idiot and they use my own words to make me look like an idiot. So let me explain that, guys. A few weeks ago, I said, we're not going to beat the Knights. I hope we beat Saints, and we're not going to beat New Zealand. But that's all right. We've got some easy games after that. So if we win 1 out of 3, I'll be happy. Now, he said to me, Dad, he goes, what's the difference the fact that we've lost to Newcastle and we've lost to Saints? If we beat New Zealand, you've still got your 1 out of 3, and you've still got your easy games. And you know how I answered that to my 28-year-old son? I said, go to bed, you make too much sense. All right? So, and he keeps sending me these text messages saying, don't let us win Friday night. Don't let us win Friday night. And I don't know, part of me doesn't want to have hope anymore. That's how tortured I am. But if we do win tomorrow night, which I don't expect, if we do win, we have got a really good draw. Okay, so I should thank my son for giving me some hope because I had about 1% last week. But we'll be there tomorrow night, and I hope everyone can get out there tomorrow night. Yeah. And you never know. We'll put it this way. I gave us no chance in round 3 when we went to New Zealand, and look what happened there. So you just never know. Who are we to say whether we can win or lose? It's up to the players.
In the words of Buzz Rothfield, Rob, sorry for having an opinion.
What are your predictions, Taylor, for the game tomorrow?
Warriors 28, Tigers 14.
Are you going out to the game?
Unlikely at this stage, but hopeful. I'll be racking up my Campbelltown hours next year for sure, though.
King's Cross Station, change at Central.
Yep. No buses involved either.
Central to.
I'm going to King's Cross.
I'm asking.
Not when
I'm asking.
Removed his excise.
I'm asking how do you get to Lamia from King's Cross on the train?
2 trains.
Yeah, 2 trains. Train to Central, and then
the
Southwest line. Just make sure you get off at Lamia and not Campbelltown. All
right, Taylor, we've just got another guest that just joined us, so we'll get to our last guest of the night. But thank you for joining us tonight.
No, and thanks to all you guys.
See you at the watch along.
Summer Hill Hotel, 2 weeks.
Summer Hill.
That's a quick train ride. Nice.
No, appreciate all the work you guys do. Really hope that our administration had the passion that you guys tend to have week in, week out. So thanks again.
Legend. Thanks, Taylor.
Josh, is it okay if I leave as well?
Yeah, can you just say hello to our guest, and then you can.
They mightn't like it.
Josh, tell him no.
They will.
Hello, boys.
Oh, that's Alex Seyfarth's dad.
Hey, Rob.
Hello, mate.
I see what you did there. How are we all going? Queenslander, where's Hoff? How are we going for Queensland? How's New South Wales favourite Queenslander?
When did Ashley Klein win the Wally Lewis medal?
Fucking deserved it.
I thought you were going to stop.
For those who don't know, this is our man Riff coming in from Miami. Are you in Miami at the moment, or are you in LA yet?
I'm in Miami for another until Tuesday of next week, and I'm heading to Hollywood because
California way. There you go.
Yeah.
Geez, we're going good tonight. Kings Cross, Miami. What's next?
All the drug spots. Shouts to all the coke addicts who are Central Coast. Central Coast is more weed, I guess. It's up Johnny L's way.
You know it's up 10 p.m. now.
Yeah, anything goes.
So, boys, one thing I'll be interested to see what Adel, because I know he's tight with Appy. A couple of weeks ago, we were all lamenting that the attack was never going to Romey, and he was never getting the ball. We talk about coaches losing a dressing room. Romey's obviously the big call to arms sort of speech type of fella. I wonder if he's lost the dressing room. Before he signed with PNG, his big words would have meant a lot. But, I'm here for life doesn't mean a lot when you've just signed with PNG. And I'm wondering, had Romey lost the dressing room, and was one of the reasons that we didn't go to him during the Newcastle match because maybe Appy's off him?
Yeah, that's certainly not the case. The reason why that day, I remember having that conversation, I don't know if it was with Rob or with Eddie at the time. We went right that day because remember we played Newcastle that time. We went after Greg Marju. So we got him that day at Campbelltown. So we thought that was our plan to go after him again. I don't agree with that because I think our left side has always been our strong side. That's why we went after him that day because we got a lot of success that time against Greg Marju, and I think we try to go after him again.
We had DeCourcy there too that day.
Yeah, DeCourcy, who hasn't played a game of first grade ever since. I think he's playing maybe A grade somewhere in Western Sydney. Look, I can tell you for sure that there's from that perspective with the players, that they're all completely fine. I know that for a fact. So, yeah, like I said before, I don't think there's any drama in regards to in-house with the players and with Benji, with Jarome's situation. I think it's purely business, and obviously the guys in the media are going to beat this up because it's going to sell a bit of a story. But in saying that could change. I don't know anything about Jarome and Benji's sort of situation. But like I said before, I think both of them are two types of people. I have no doubt. Benji hasn't done his media this week, has he? Or he has already?
He was due it today. No, yesterday. Wednesday was media day. Yeah, they just don't for some reason the club doesn't upload it till over 24 hours later.
Well, I think we're going to know because, unless something happens in the game, Jarome and Benji will sit next to each other in the press conference tomorrow after the game. So we'll sort of understand and see the dynamic no matter whether we win or lose.
Actually, he was on Channel 9 News last night. He did the press yesterday. Yeah.
I think the other thing is, and it's always everything everybody said tonight is almost bang on. It's really hard as a Tigers fan. Okay, I know people were saying,
is it? Oh, I haven't noticed.
I don't ever agree. Particularly as the number one ticket holder of the Alex Seyfarth fan club, I hate people putting shit on our own players. I really don't like it.
Yeah.
That said, we as a fan base have had 12 years of this. Exactly what's happening now, 12 years. So
15.
If Romey was a bit upset by people being in his DMs, one, Romey makes a lot of money off his social media. We all know. We see him doing gaming posts and things like that. You've got to take the good with the bad. And every fan base has a few dickheads. But empathy with our fan base, part of the reason, we've got people that passionate, and part of the reason we've probably got the most popular fan podcast in the country is because of the torment we have been through as fans. I empathise with every single person watching, listening to this or whatever. Being a Tigers fan, if you've stuck through this, mate, more power to you. We have been through the gates of hell. But yeah, that's partly, I think if Romey would maybe accept the fact he makes a lot of cash off his socials, and yes, there's a few dickheads, and we have been through hell, man. We're like people coming out of battered relationships.
It is a battered relationship.
I thought we're the most popular because we have Robbie B.
Junior or senior?
Definitely.
About time you spat some back out.
Hey, Rick, can I ask why the love affair with Alex Seyfarth?
Well, as you'd know, if you'd followed this club for a long time, Adel, firstly, we have a history of blood nuts and lovable blood nuts. McNeil, for instance, in more recent years, Big
He
Keith.
never played for the West Tigers.
I knew Hoff was going to say something.
Queenslander! Queenslander!
Do we count Steve Edmed as a blood nut?
Oh, bloody
Yeah.
oath, we can't count
He,
Steve
he
Edwards
looks
as
pretty
a blood
similar
nut.
to Safe Half, actually.
He did. So the first is that I love a character, but mostly the biggest thing, I love a Sri Lankan. No, I love a junior. I love a junior. I absolutely do. I'll always stick by them, and I love a bit of a character as well. So yeah, and I do think no matter what people say, a lot of the times Alex Seyfarth's been put in a position he shouldn't have been put in. I don't think he ever was a back rower, but he was filling a hole, and he goes out there and he tries to do his best. I think Alex Seyfarth is a squad player. I don't think he's going to be the best player in our club or whatever. And good clubs, see Melbourne Storm, they have players like Alex Seyfarth who give their all and can come off the bench or can fill this hole or do that hole, and will just put the club ahead of them. Dundas Shamrocks forever.
Shamrocks.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a story about Alex Seyfarth. I coached, actually, the boys sent the photo today in our WhatsApp. I was coaching the Roosters at the time. We played Balmain in the SG Ball, and Alex Seyfarth got sin bin twice in the game. I'll never forget it. So he's been doing it from a young age, so at least he's consistent.
Well, no, he's actually got a lot of that out of his game. He is maturing a little bit, like all of us. You know, we get better with age. I heard Rob earlier in this potty, you know, believing that two things could be right, and that's come a long way for Mr. Bashara. So you know, we're all maturing, and so is big Red's maturing like a good Red.
Thanks, Rob.
Anyone got anything else
I
before?
was going to leave Josh,
Yeah.
but I couldn't leave out of respect for Riff. Sorry.
I know that's why I did. I thought you'd be keen to stay on once we brought him in to come off the bench, Safe Half style at the back end here.
Riff, you got a prediction for tomorrow night?
I'm not as positive as Hoff. I'm probably in Adele's camp, and to be honest, my heart might have been somewhere else for last week, but my head already felt that we were going to lose to Saints. I'm not feeling great about it. I'll get up at. It's actually on at a pretty good time for me. I think it's an 8 o'clock game for you guys, isn't it? Which gets it in at about 6 a.m. for me. So that's actually a good game. So I'll be up and I'll be positive and I'll hope. But yeah, no, I'm like Adele. I think we're busted, and I'm looking forward to 2028 now.
Well, LA's going to kill the night games for you. That'll be what, 5 in the morning then?
Yeah, no, it'll be even worse than
earlier,
that.
4 in the morning.
It's a 3-hour time difference, so even the 8 o'clock game will be 3 a.m. But I might have to stay up for a few. The earlier games will be on at like 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, I remember watching our Friday night win. When I was in Colorado, it was like 3 in the morning. Remember the Cheekham game where Cheekham stepped Darius Boyd to win?
Brisbane.
Yeah. I got up at 3 o'clock in the morning, Colorado, to watch that one.
So, 2019, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know, Alex Seyfarth's brothers are paparazzi.
Yeah,
is that right?
He's the big dog. Yeah, he's the big dog, Jaden.
Is that right? I did not know that. I did not know that.
He's the one that got the Mary Fowler, Nathan Cleary, the original.
Did he really? Yeah. Maybe that's why they put 68 points on us the other night.
Wait, you're talking about when they're all dapped up in Adidas gear at the park?
That was all of that pap stuff is always Seyfarth's brother. He's the one.
But that was they knew that someone was taking photos. Surely they're literally head to toe in Adidas gear.
Yeah, most of that paparazzi stuff, it's all set up.
Yeah.
I was speaking to Tammy Hembrow the other day. She said to me all her stuff's set up. So.
Okay, let's go down this rabbit hole. Hang on a minute. What's going on with Adel and Tammy Hembrow? Do you lads know who Tammy Hembrow is?
No.
Hoff does. Hoff for sure.
She's no Wally Lewis. I'll just say that.
if FHM was around, you'd know about her, Josh. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. What era are we talking here?
today.
I know she's current. She's current.
She's current.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Someone told
She
me.
was.
I have to get Zoo Weekly. Here I am, the only millennial on this show, and I don't know who.
Yeah, you
this
rip on me
woman
for
is.
being old. I'm up with it. Don't worry about that.
I only worked out who bloody what's
do
her
you
name?
mean?
Olivia. What's the singer's name?
Olivia
Rodrigo
Dean.
No,
Olivia Rodrigo.
no, Rodrigo.
Rodrigo.
Yeah, there's Rodriguez and Rodrigo. I didn't know they were two different people until recently. Yeah,
I didn't know
Okay.
this then.
yeah. I'm
My daughter's
I'm old.
favourite singer. She just did a song with Robert Smith from The Cure. I'm going online today to get tickets to one of her concerts for my daughter.
Isn't
what's your-
Rob's favourite singer? What's his name? The guy, the rock band guy.
Sinatra.
No. Freaking the chairman.
Creed?
No,
Creed, David Hasselhoff.
no, the freaking chairman of our club.
Oh, Daniel Burgess,
Burgess.
Master's Apprentice.
Oh, don't go there.
Friday on my
That's
mind.
so-
Is there some?
Nah,
Don't
it's
bring
not
up
easy.
Denny. Don't bring up Denny. He played in the band for 3 months and he's been cashing his checks from it ever since. Like
3 months
oh
longer
my.
than you, Riff.
What band? Six and Out. Was he in Six and Out?
That's Richard
Yeah,
Sheekley.
I wish he was on our board for 3 months.
Guys, if I drop out in the next 30 seconds, it's my battery's almost about to go. So I don't want to look like I'm being rude or anything. But if it does go, thanks for having me on.
All right, shout out to your wife. Get the wife to charge that battery up once you hop off. All right, we might as well say good night to Big Dog. Is there anything else, Hoff?
Get out to Lincoln Oval Saturday. West versus the Warriors. Luke Lauli versus Kit Lauli.
Sunday late.
Mate, Luke's playing tomorrow night, Hoff.
What?
Luke's on a 6-man
Told you
bench
that.
tomorrow.
Well, it doesn't necessarily he
It
is
doesn't mean
playing.
he's going to play.
Yeah, but there's a chance he will play. So you can't be selling things that might not happen.
I always do that.
Um,
I'm selling a win tomorrow night.
Gary,
For our
Sun-
Queensland fans, Sunday 2:00, Langlands Park is the venue.
well,
If
you
anyone
said that
turns
very.
up there from the potty, if you turn up there Sunday 2:00 at Langlands Park, and you see me, if you tell me you're from the West Tigers Life or the Claws Out podcast, you're in the sheds with us after the game. There you go.
Yeah.
Adele, I think you said that very quickly. Then Queenslanders are a little bit slow. You might have to. I'm getting hammered on Twitter at the moment because I wrote last night that Cameron Smith basically had a crack at Cameron Smith for bitching about the try call and all the Queenslanders. I'm not
He was
deleting
right,
that.
wasn't he?
He's still a whinging bitch. But Gary, what's
The knock on.
Gary,
Clear knock
what's happening on the channel this weekend?
Well, we're not back, and we got the Faithful tomorrow.
Yep.
May release something. I actually haven't spoken to them. I'm guessing an hour couple of hours before the game. They
Yeah.
may not. But Claws Out and Coaches Report will be back on Sunday, and then
Will it?
we hit next week.
Isn't Adele away on Sunday?
Are you?
I'll let you know after the game tomorrow night. No, I'm just joking.
Well, there might not be Coaches Report.
No, we'll be on Sunday night if I'm allowed.
Of course you are.
Always.
No, not from you guys.
Oh,
Oh. Rob, anything you want to plug?
no, just look, I'm going to get out to West Campbelltown before the game. Some of us are going there. Some of us are going to the Sherwood.
Man us in the
Hope
tab.
to see a few
We'll
of
be
you
there.
there. Hope to see a few of you there and make sure we outnumber the New Zealand Warriors fans and just put it all behind you for 80 minutes and bitch and moan afterwards if you need to. But hopefully we'll have a good night out there tomorrow and we can cheer the boys home to a victory.
We'll take the camera off tomorrow.
Yeah,
we'll do the post game.
interviews
So
afterwards.
find us. We'll stand out in between the gate and the Leagues Club, our usual little spot. We'll wait there for anyone who wants to come out. As well as Tom said of course, thank you, Tom. Hear Her Raw, they dropped their show yesterday, so we did a bit of a swap this week. So they did Wednesday, we did Thursday. And as Tom said on the Facebook stream there, NRL Girls 12:45 on Saturday playing against the Cowgirls. Shouldn't they be the
Cowboys.
Cowgirls, not the Cow?
Cowboys.
Shouldn't they be the Cowgirls?
No, they had this
The
debate
Cowgirls.
because it's the franchise. It's the Cowboys.
Fair enough. I guess the Broncos would be. Isn't a Bronco a male horse? Okay, we're getting into
The Tigresses.
Yeah.
We're the Tigresses.
yeah. Okay, well, animals. We'll save the animal chat for
Call them the
Patreon.
cows.
Oh, that's
No, I mean, like we always call the men the cows. Hey, don't go there. I was talking
the
just to call them
bulls.
the
Call them the opposite.
Settle down, Casey Badger.
Who's touch judge tomorrow night?
cows. Where at?
Campbelltown.
Oh, fuck no.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
look,
right.
there is a positive to that. It's better than her being in the video box.
Rob, you know what that means? You know you need to be sitting next to tomorrow night.
Who's that?
Your cousin Mark. That'll be entertaining.
Yeah, I'm not sure where my ticket is. My son bought the tickets online yesterday. So, yeah, but I'll try and bump into Mark and Andrew if I see them.
Shouts to C Lau he said, "Oh, great horse and cow talk, mate. We're 110 minutes into the show. I think we've given you plenty of footy chat tonight. Apologies for the tangents. R.I.P. Bonnie Tyler on that note as well. But,
And our old mate from Poland's back tonight. S10 coming in
Who?
live from Poland. S10.
Shark
He
in.
joined the live watch along, and he was from
Oh,
Poland. That's
good
what
on
I
him.
went on about the
Are you
pierogi
going to
chat.
talk about pierogies again,
Yeah.
Koff? Because that was scintillating viewing when you went on about your sauerkraut and cheese pierogies. We should definitely go there again.
Beautiful they are. So shout out to him anyway. He's in the chat.
Eddie said, "Great show, boys." So Eddie's wrapping us up on the WhatsApp group, but we'll see Eddie Sunday night on Claws Out. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you to everyone. Literally, we cracked the 300 mark for the first time, literally since we got robbed game against the Cowboys a few years ago. So thank you to everyone. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Even there was a few nufties in there that set Adel off, but for the most part, it was great. It's seen a lot of different names. So give us a subscribe. I think there's a lot of people in there that probably haven't seen our channel before. So give us a sub. Become a member if you wish, and yeah, check out all our shows. 6 shows across the week. West Tigers TV. This is West Tigers Life.
And if you're 50-50 about coming out to the Fortress tomorrow night,
Make it 51.
get out there because you only live once, and it could be a night to remember. It will be a night to remember. So get out there.
On a night like this.
Great song.
See what you did, Josh. I see what you did.
Thanks for jumping on, Riff.
Always a pleasure, boys. Thank you. Hey, you lads are legends. Honestly, the content you give us,
Thanks, Riff.
us long-time sufferers, we love you all. Shout out to the West Tigers faithful boys. I'm loving their potty too, and the girls. Well done. Appreciate you on behalf of everybody else out there in audience land. Thank you, lads. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Riff. That's it. Doreen's in the chat. We'll see you tomorrow night, Doreen. See you at the club.
Yeah.
See everyone else as well. Join us. We'll be in the tab. Come say good day. As always, can we get 6 people to say it all at once on a stream? As always,
Go the West Tigers.
Tigers.
Go the Tigers.